Alrighty. YouTube. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If y'all are new here, my name is Angel Uchiha. If y'all are not new, then of course, welcome back. As always, when I thank y'all for liking, commenting, subscribing, running those views up, all of that good shit that y'all do to support this channel and show love. I appreciate all of that, y'all. Today, I have a special guest with me. We are going to be talking about many different things, but mostly the empowerment of the feminine being, right? And I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself to the people, tell them a little bit about you, what you stand for, what you do, all that good stuff.
Okay, I'm MD Revo. Um, born in a matriarch type of situation, just so people can get a background and stuff. Come from a Panther background with my granny, my mother, my aunties, two aunties, my mother and my granny. Uh, from St. Louis. So when you ever hear me talk about Revolu, the Revel stands for revolution and the Lu stands for St. Louis, and like honor and respect of the revolutionary Black queens that raised me. So I come from that. Um, and then as I continue to grow, grow into myself and everything like that, my granny and stuff, instill certain type of values in me about being a man and being a king. Kind of debunks that whole ideology that only a man can teach a boy how to be a man. My granny used to always be around the house telling me that's not what a king's supposed to do. A king ain't supposed to have his room looking like that. A king ain't supposed to have trash in his yard like that. He's supposed to clean it up. So listen to what a king is not supposed to do made me into being the king that she wanted me to be in the future type of thing. So my granny and them they was deep in the community activism work, which I I got them vibes from as a kid. You know what I mean, you get stuff that I remember like maybe around 9, 10 years old. Being I remember them being active in the community. Just to get some background on that. My auntie Bertha Gilkey. I mean, you can look her up. She got a tenant movement in the projects out there to help women out there become homeowners and took over the projects from the gangs and the drug dealers and stuff like that to make it better living for the women and the children in the community. And my mom and my auntie and my granny was into foster care, into the to the day, and creating their own daycare empires type of thing. So they was all out there trying to save the children that was they come from families that was drug addicted and things like that, to try to stop them from going to the system, the foster care system, to try to be able to provide a way. Kind of a better way for them to be able to be more productive in society if they got a hold of them. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much right there. You know what I'm saying? Any more questions we can ask in the future? I just give you a basis.
Alrighty. So it definitely sounds like you grew up watching women who were very action based and solution based, right?
Hmm, hmm.
I think that's something that's very, very, very important. Um, just coming from a woman who, myself, me and my partner, we're working on building a matriarchal culture,
Hmm.
right? Well, we believe in egalitarian matriarchy,
Okay.
right? Um, a lot of what I have ran into is being in this extremely patriarchal society. A lot of women are taught not to be action based in that way.
Hmm.
That is the man's job to sort of forge that path and create a movement and go out and have this grand mission in the world. And as a woman, your goal is to just support that and, be barefoot in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I
Right.
think it's amazing to see other women who are like, not only do I see where a solution is needed in the community, but I'm going to take the reins and go ahead and spearhead that. Um,
Hmm.
and so I think that kind of piggybacks off of something that I saw you post, right,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
other day on your platform, where you said, teach your daughters a skill beyond cooking and cleaning up after a grown ass man, right?
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting, right?
Hmm.
Um, because I feel like it has that similar energy of teaching women productivity,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, do you have a like do you at all have a traditional perspective? Because I noticed you said besides,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Um, So do you feel like a woman should cook and clean and do those domestic things, but also have the ability to be productive in other areas? Or what is your take on that?
I feel like as a kid, I think a woman and a man should learn basic life skills like cooking and cleaning, right? But when they get into an adult stage, I really think they should go after their purpose, right?
Hmm.
I think women are born with a purpose before they even knew kind of like what a man was and what a relationship was and all that type of stuff. They had something that the ancestral genes put into their soul, and they got something and they got skills. You know what I mean? To be able to go after that and to be able to accomplish that. And I think that comes first.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That I'm on that. So I think and when we get into relationships up in age and things like that, I just think like, if okay, I'm gonna give you an example. If you know what I mean, say I have a queen, right? And I'm in a household. I don't want her to do domestic servitude work because I feel like that's just a I'm doing the same thing that white slave master was doing to the ancestors. So what I would have to do is what I would have to look at is if we're and I have to look at the relationship has to be able coming into a relationship has to be able to create something and build something that we've never seen before. So when if a woman is able to cook and clean, you know what I mean? That's not, I would have to be able to help her ascend higher than that and everything like that because that stuff she was doing in high school. That stuff she
Hmm.
was doing in grade school. So I have to look at it like, what is your God given purpose? What is you here on this earth to be able to do? And go after that. And then maybe teach the children, if there's children in the house or whatever, how to cook and clean, or maybe go hire somebody to do it for her.
Hmm.
I look at it like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, as a woman, like I spent a lot of time kind of like over analyzing myself because I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like I perform domestic duties to the capacity that I've seen other women do. Um, for example, I was raised with my great grandmother, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was very, very, very skilled at that type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like just one of those older women that know how to make every inch of the house smell good and this
Right,
and
right, right,
what
right. I
it,
got you. I
and
got
I'm
you.
just like
I got
I
you.
used to think to myself, damn, like I wish I had that type of ability. But I noticed within myself that I'm very mission driven. I'm fulfilling that purpose, right? That you
Mm-hmm.
speak of, right? And it consumes a very large amount of my time from homeschooling my children
Mm-hmm.
to pursuing my degree, our businesses, building our culture. I don't have time to be in the kitchen for like 6 hours a day and
Right.
and folding these are basic domestic duties, and this is why most people who are career based, mission based, and are very successful in that, they end up having maids or personal chefs or people who
Right,
do the more
right.
domestic
Mm-hmm.
duties.
Mm-hmm.
So when you expect your woman to pick up that mantle, you all but destroy her ability to pursue her actual goals or her actual visions
Mm-hmm.
because the vast majority of her time is spent being a living cook and maid, right?
Yes,
Which
yes.
are
Yep.
full-time jobs, which is why when you pay people to do that, you have to pay them because
Yeah.
that's a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't think people respect that, right? So yeah, I definitely respect your opinion on that.
I'm gonna say
So
this real quick too. I'm gonna say
I'm
this too.
sorry.
I'm gonna say this to you about yourself. See, when your great grandmother was doing it, she learned it from somebody, right? She
Mm-hmm.
learned. She learned that was what a woman's place is in society, probably. Like she was taught that. But
Mm-hmm.
you're a revolutionary version of your great grandma. So
Mm-hmm.
when you don't feel like you want to do that, that's somebody in the family should be looking at you like, yo, Angel need to be washing no dishes. She need to be doing this over here. You know how in the hood sometimes like some of the men in the hood, there'll be a gang banging or whatever, and they'll see the dude that's really smart in chemistry or whatever, and they be like, yo, he ain't gonna be in no gang. Let
Mm-hmm.
him like we're gonna help him get to college. We're gonna help
Yeah.
him get to that. This ain't for him. Right? So sometimes we need that dynamic in the family because a lot of that cooking and cleaning was taught, and it was taught by them by slave masters in that household. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when we look at our generations coming forward, man, I think yeah, because their purpose was taken from them. So they just look at it like, yo, this is just what I'm supposed to do. Automatically as a woman, I'm just supposed to cook and clean after a grown man every day. That's just what I do every day. And and then the family gets robbed of that. or that beauty in that
Yeah,
human being.
yeah, it's actually ridiculous. I think a lot of the times it ends up being the opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I've just been in previous situations where I'm kind of focusing on my purpose, trying to build what I'm trying to build, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um I actually get derailed from that in the sense of like, oh, as a woman, you need to come over here and cook. Like you don't need to be in here discussing this and trying to figure this out.
Let me ask you
Because
a
it's
question real
not.
quick.
Hmm.
Let me ask you a question. You know what I mean? What about the man? Is the man able to cook in them situations, or he just don't want to cook or don't want to learn how to cook and just putting you in a role as a woman? I'm curious.
So for one, I'm definitely not talking about my current situation. No.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying like just inexperience of
Mhm.
being a woman in this society in general.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Right? These are things that I have experienced. And
Mhm.
so in those situations, no, it was definitely people who felt like it's the man's job to like in fact at points I was in groups
Mhm.
where all of the men are in one room
Mhm.
working on the nation building and the decision making and all this good stuff, and all the women are supposed to be in the kitchen like making pies or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah. 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 That's crazy. That's crazy. That's
It's
crazy.
insane, it's insane, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I don't know, it just was always extremely backward to me. It was always
Mhm.
extremely limited,
Mhm.
because oftentimes there were so many different ways that we could have been valuable contribution as women, right? We could
Mhm.
have we could have contributed greatly,
Mhm.
but we were stifled in that way,
Mhm.
because of the whole traditional dynamic, right? But
Mhm.
what would end up happening is inevitably the men would get stuck, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we would end up figuring things out, but of
Mhm.
course they'll take the glory for that.
Yeah. I'll take the
Right?
credit
that's
for it. Yep. Yep.
that's
Yep.
what happens a lot in patriarchy.
Mhm.
So that's a whole other conversation. So
Mhm.
another thing, right, since similar to what we just said here,
Mhm.
that I noticed you pointed out, was that a patriarchal system is only powerful if the matriarch voluntarily surrenders to it, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Now, so there's a couple aspects to that stand out to me. Firstly, when I think of a matriarch, I don't understand how she could be a matriarch if she submits to a patriarchal system.
That's
It
right.
seems like a patriarchal system would cancel out the
Mhm.
matriarch.
Mhm. Mhm.
Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. So when you convey this message, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Were you encouraging this? Are you saying that this is something women should do? That matriarchs should voluntarily surrender
Hell
to
no,
the
they should
power?
voluntarily surrender. No, that's crazy that you got that from that. That's interesting. What I'm saying, no, what I'm saying is that a matriarch society or matriarch women, they're like
Mhm,
the queens of their own nation or tribe type of thing, and they
mhm,
set they set their laws of conduct, behavior. They set the laws of the people that they govern, or what I mean, whatever it is that they want their society or tribe to be. They are the head of that, or they'll get people around them to help with that, right?
mhm,
So they will have, in order for a patriarch man or society to be more powerful than the matriarch will have to stop doing all that. That's what I see in by
mhm.
surrender. They'll have to surrender their purpose and everything that they're able to do, what I mean, for themselves and everything like that, and then turn to the patriarch and be like, lead me somewhere. That's what I meant by that.
Mm. And I think that that's a very powerful statement, because in my experience as a matriarchal woman, men try to rebuttal matriarchy with, well, men are the ones who protect and provide. Well, those are acts of service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that position of being a protector and provider is only validated by having um women who allow you to play that role in their lives, who say, you know what, you are a leader. And I saw you touch on this. We're gonna get into that. You
Mm-hmm.
are a
Okay.
leader,
Mm-hmm.
and I submit to you. I submit to your leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that you provide is sufficient for me. So I'm willing to accept that and provide you with X, Y, and Z in return. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is so I think the mentality is extremely delusional
Mm-hmm.
to think that because you are a protector slash provider, you are now in a superior position. Um, and you kind of have this heliocentric mentality that everything revolves around you because you're the protector and the provider, right? When
Mm-hmm.
in actuality, that is an act of service,
Mm-hmm.
right? In which I would think everything else comes before you. Really,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I
Mm-hmm.
would think. If
Okay.
my goal was to is to lay down my life to
Mm-hmm.
protect something else, then that sounds like to me that something else is more important to me.
Right. That's very important. Keep going. You got it. Yep. Yep. Yep.
No,
You're
that's
right.
all I was gonna say. That's where I land
Mm-hmm.
my plane at.
Yeah. 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 They don't see. I think. I think black males majority say that because they took that from that old ancient white man back in the day, right?
hmm
So so the thing is that that's what the old white man was like saying about his woman, but his woman was subjugated. She couldn't education. She couldn't work. She couldn't do nothing for herself. Like she couldn't even vote or none of that. So he felt like back in them days that that's what a man was supposed to do. But what happens when a woman has freedom? What happens when a woman has independence? What happens when a woman can love freely? What happens when a woman has her own purpose? A lot of the times she can protect and provide for herself. And see now when that
hmm
happens, certain men have a problem with that because now they feel like they no longer need it. But that's not what it is if they pay attention because the matriarch woman is going to tell you exactly what she gonna need you for or want you to do. But when she
hmm
say those simple things, he don't want to do all that, right? So the protecting and providing part, I feel like is a trap because I don't even. So I would look at it like this. I would get it like, okay, if I was a woman, I would say, what are you protecting me from, right?
hmm
Tell me what are you protecting me from? You protect me from other men. You protect me from a bear, and whatever you protecting me from, can it kill you though? Can you protect yourself from whatever it is that's trying to get to me? That's what I would ask them. I would get like specific situations because we look at the dynamic of a traditional household or any household in the world. Like, even if you leave your woman at home with the kids to go out here in the world to work a job, who protecting her then? You see what I'm saying?
hmm
See, that's why I say that women should learn how to protect themselves and provide for themselves. Because wherever that man goes, that protection is a 24/7 thing. That means you have to be her shadow because anything can happen. She could go outside and take out the garbage, and some dude could be talking to her. She could be at home, like I said, by herself. Somebody rings the doorbell. Like that is like some slavery type of thing. Like you know what I'm saying? So,
hmm
and then getting to the provide part is that a lot of dudes use that too because that stops a woman from being able to provide for herself. So if you provide, just look at Maslow like hierarchy of needs, right? Like shelter and food and water and clothes and stuff like that, right?
hmm
If somebody else is providing that for you, you might become a slave eventually. And if you don't know how to do it yourself, because if a man is providing for a woman, just say 5 years or so, you just provide for a woman, and just say something happened to him because he's not invincible. Anything can happen to him. We don't know when death is gonna come, right? If that
hmm
woman does not know how to provide and protect herself, that means she ain't gonna be able to do it for herself or them children because he ain't taught her nothing. See, I think
hmm
that's the big thing I feel like with the patriarch man is that he don't really care about the woman to that degree because I feel like a man will want to be able to empty his brain and teach his woman everything that he know, right? Just in case he passed, and also to teach her, want her to be more powerful than him. Because if something happened
hmm
to him, she's able to take care of him. See, a lot of times when dudes get sick or something happened to him or it's a problem, she don't know how to solve the problem because her brain ain't been exercised in a way to create solutions and critical thinking, all that type of stuff. The
Right.
dude want her to be him. So if he's sick, how's she gonna help him? The only way she's gonna be able to help him is when she have independent thought and find another way of doing it that's outside of what he know. You see what I'm saying? So I
Mhm.
think the provide and protect is it's a trap. Because why would
So
why would a man get mad because a woman can take care of herself? Why would a dude get mad? Like
yeah,
that's
there's
crazy,
so
right?
much that you said there that
Mm.
is you hit on so much that I've been expressing right throughout
Mm.
this journey, right?
Okay.
So first of all, I noticed that you said essentially men they sort of fear the matriarchy, like they feel that they'll fear that they'll will lose their place or their productivity Because if a woman is able to provide and protect for herself, well, what will I do? She'll tell
Mm.
you what to do. But they don't
Exactly.
want that. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want the woman to actually open her mouth and say what she actually wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I've noticed in society where men will kind of take it upon themselves to say, well, I'm going to be your protector and your provider. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't ask you to do that. I have a gun, I have a job. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's not
Right.
what I
There you
need
go.
you to be for me. You're putting
Mm-hmm.
yourself and telling me what I need from you. And
Mm-hmm.
that shouldn't how that's not how it should work. I should be telling you what I
Mm-hmm.
need from you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
think that in that way, the whole protector provider thing is kind of like a cop out. It's a way to essentially provide what you want to a
Mm-hmm.
person as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to what they actually need. And why is it that men want to provide that? Exactly what you just said, because it eliminates that person's autonomy and
Mm-hmm.
their self-sustainability. This is why there's this saying that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for the rest of his life,
There you
right?
go. There you
So
go.
men want to give women the fish. They don't want
Mm.
to teach women how to fish for themselves. It's the same reason why, back in the day, the white man wanted to read the book to you or tell you what the book said. They
Right.
didn't want you to know how to read the book yourself because
Mm-hmm.
it limits you. It
Mm-hmm.
keeps you dependent. It keeps you weak. It keeps you subservient because you're not able to provide for and sustain yourself. So when
Mm-hmm.
men come, not all men, but a lot of these men, when they come with this protector provider mentality, women have been duped into thinking that this is like a gift, a protector
Right.
provider. I'm so thankful. He's
Right.
so
Right. Right.
generous that he's providing for me. Girl,
Mm-hmm.
he is trapping you. He is
Mm-hmm.
using this as a tool to limit you and to
Mm-hmm.
control your sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is why oftentimes men who do this is contingent upon something, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of men will say out their own mouth, "Oh, I won't protect for something that doesn't belong to me,"
But
right?
long, look at that ownership. Look at that ownership.
Exactly. It's like
That's that white
signing
man
your
again.
soul over to the fucking devil. Like he's gonna protect you and provide for you, but
Mhm.
you have to agree that you belong to him and you're his
Yeah.
property to do it as he wills. What?
Yep. Yep.
Nigga, keep that
Yeah.
shit. I'll just get a job. I'll just get a job. I'm sorry. Like
Right. That's what I'm
I'm sorry.
saying. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then
Yep.
so that's interesting to me because you have a lot of women these days, right?
Mhm.
Like we can really get into it. There's a lot of
Yeah.
women
Let's go. Let's go. I'm with you.
who are
Okay.
saying like I don't want to get married, right? And
Mm-hmm.
most divorces are being initiated by women.
Mm-hmm.
And men will say, like, oh, well, in the same breath, men will say, well, women need to get back in line because there's less men than women and women are going to end up alone and blah, blah, blah. Well, as far as I can see, women are choosing not to marry. And when they do get
Mm-hmm.
married, they're choosing not to stay in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I personally think this is the reason why. Because in the past 100 years, women have been able to seek higher education.
Mm-hmm.
We've been able to enter the work field. We've been able to become entrepreneurs and create our own income.
Mm-hmm.
And it's put us in a position where we can provide our own selves. We can teach our own selves how to fish, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to sign my soul over to you
Mm-hmm.
for you to do something that I now can do for myself, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and
I
so
mean,
then the question
hey,
becomes,
can I add on something to that real quick
yeah,
for you and the listeners and everything? Is that when we go back, a part of what that start happening. So with marriage is that women were women were brought up to find a husband, right? But the thing is, when that Civil War hit, imagine a million men don't come back home. What you do?
mm-hmm,
World War II, World War One, Korea, Vietnam, all the white man wars and all that. Them men ain't
mm-hmm,
coming back home. If you look at World War II, if you look at a global World War II, probably 10 million, 10 million. Now, women weren't even supposed to be in the armed forces, right? Because of
mm-hmm.
discrimination, right? So you got 10 million men from all different cultures not coming back home to women that are needing them to lead them and provide them. That's where that started at. The
Uh,
women was in the communities was like, yo, your husband gone, my husband gone. So they start looking at themselves like getting survival mode, like shit. I can go out here and fucking cut this grass. I can go out here and pick them pears off that tree. I can, because they got them children. So that's making the
Mm-hmm.
women get out there and work with each other. So that's where that sisterhood bonding started happening, because people were bonding because they lost their husbands. So they didn't know how to survive. So a lot of women already knew, because some of them women fathers taught them how to do certain stuff. But when you get married, it's like you surrender that, right? But some of them still
Mm-hmm.
thought about, just still thought about it in their head. And then a lot of women was like, man, I'm glad that dude didn't come back home. Shit, I'm
Yeah,
glad.
and that's where you get the feminist movement, because a
Yep.
lot of men try to blame the feminist movement
Mm,
for women entering the workforce and all this extra stuff. But like you just said, what really triggered that was men getting sent off to war and dying.
mm-hmm,
That's what really triggered women entering the workforce. And then what happened was, afterwards, they tried to basically send women back.
mm,
Like, all right, we back. The war's over. Like, let's wrap it up.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, nah, like, what do you
There's another
mean?
one coming around the
Like,
corner. What you talking
exactly,
about?
exactly. Not
Right.
only
Yeah.
that, but
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, like like you said, some women had no choice because their husbands didn't come back. But the
Mm-hmm.
ones who did, it's like, I got my own money now.
Yeah. Yeah. Got that place,
I'm out
right?
this
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
We
Got
gonna
that
have to get a babysitter, nigga, because I'm not going back. Like,
place. Right. Right. Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
the mentality. And
Mm-hmm.
as a woman who has seen kind of both sides, I kind of can understand that, right? I've been
Mm-hmm.
a stay-at-home mother, traditional, whatever. I've also been in the workforce. I was pregnant, working with my first child, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen kind of like the balance of both sides. And I definitely think that you maintain more autonomy
Mm-hmm.
as a being when you are able to go out and earn your own resources and delegate them as you see fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm just saying all that to say, oh, that's what made me say that, right? Because I remember seeing this debate back and forth about how 50-50 men are like, I don't understand why a woman would rather pay all the bills by herself than go 50-50 with a man, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And so to me, the answer was clear, because
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, I'd rather just go ahead and pay all of my own bills
Mm-hmm.
and be autonomous and self-sustainable
Mm-hmm.
than to be in a relationship where I'm paying half the bills, but I'm still expected to be submissive and subservient to this nigga. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like, if I have to like sell my soul to you in exchange for you paying half my rent, I
Mm-hmm.
think I'll just go ahead and pay my whole rent. Like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
doesn't
That's what
sound
I'm
that
saying.
tempting to me. I'm cool.
Yeah. And then
Plus, I
check this
gotta get
out.
pregnant.
When you
And
do
most
that,
of
go ahead.
the
Go
I'm
ahead. I'm
sorry, what
sorry.
you said?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to ask something.
No, I was just saying. Plus, I gotta get pregnant. So
Mm.
now I'm carrying this child, giving birth to it. I'm doing majority of the nurturing of this child, and then I got to turn around and go back to work and continue to pay 50-50. Like,
Mm.
I don't see the where is the, you know? But what were you gonna say?
No, what I'm saying, no, what I was gonna say that is like that's kind of like the whole trap game, I think, with marriage, and with, I mean, sometimes with the 50-50 and stuff like that, because a lot of men don't understand that when you meet that woman, I don't care. Listen, I don't care if she's 20 years old. Let's just say she's 20. She been taking care of herself. Like, she been had a job. She been
Mm-hmm.
to know how to take care of a house, and she got
Mm-hmm.
babysitting skills, because she done babysit some kids in that family somewhere. A lot of them, right? So she
Mm-hmm.
already know how to take care of herself. So those skills that she was taught in life is supposed to be for her. So the thing is that the man is making her surrender that stuff, because he know that he can't be powerful. He know he can't do that unless she surrender.
Mm-hmm.
He can't stand next to a lot of these dudes. Can't stand next to a powerful woman. Like, it'll be he'll try to break that woman down, try to tell her all these different things, why she shouldn't have this and why she shouldn't have that,
Mm-hmm.
and all that type of stuff. Man. It's like, why you just can't take her as is? Like, she powerful. And then if you're thinking about really, really, really looking at it, it's like kind of like it's just eye opener for a lot of women now. I think they starting to understand it. Is that when I look at them say like, oh, pay 100% of the bills. I think the women put them out there because they know that dude was trying to put them in a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you ever been like younger or whatever like that, and you've been like, yo, I know you trying to play me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So all right, okay, all right, I got you. And you will watch a person do all that stuff, and you be looking at like, this dude really think I'm crazy? Like, he really think I don't see what's going on,
He
type of
really
thing.
think I'm stupid.
Yeah, and then because if you look at paying 100%, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what do you really think that is? I mean, when a man offer that, because I think it's unrealistic, man. Because this is why I say it's unrealistic. Is because women have incredible imaginations, right? If you the more you start doing, a lot of women could be like, I want a baby pup daddy. You know that daddy word, right? That make a dude want to do all the type of stuff then. And then it's like, I want this and I want that and everything. So he is going to start losing his brain, because the more she wants, the more he got to provide,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he's going to start getting abusive, right? Because then, check this out. This is where the abuse start coming at. Is that when a woman, see, like I said before, the woman, that female has been taking care of that house since she was 7 to 8 years old, cooking and cleaning, all that. When he come home and he see her, that house chill and she cool, and he ragged and everything from fighting out in the war, trying to do all that provide, he start want to beat her up because she's in peace.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? She in peace. She got the house straight. Like, what you arguing about? So he started looking for shit to argue about. Oh, why I got this stain on the bed right here? See, you've been here all this time, and start making up shit to argue about. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
women gotta read. Yeah, women gotta read.
Yeah, I've
Things like
personally
that.
experienced that where like men, like a man, and mind you,
Mm,
I'm a very ambitious female. So a lot of times
mm,
I'm not the one that wants to just sit home and like
mm.
fold clothes. Like
Right,
that's not
right.
really my
That is
mindset.
crazy. Bold clothes, bro.
Usually
That's
like
incredible.
usually if I'm in that situation is
Mm,
because the guy is the one that's like,
mm,
yeah, I'm the man. Like
mm,
I'll provide, I'll do this, I'll do that, and you just do that, you know? So it's
mm,
like, okay, cool. So dudes will do that, and then like you said, they start to harbor resentment
mm,
because they got to work hard and they look over and you're at peace and you're doing this,
mm.
and it's like, oh, well, you ain't doing shit. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
they start to like get jealous of you for
Mm-hmm.
being at peace, but it's like this is what you wanted though. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's the whole gender role thing in today's unnatural society is extremely flawed and is not conducive in my personal
Right,
opinion.
right, right,
Right.
right, right, right.
I personally think that people should do what makes sense for their household. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the skill sets that they possess as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and move from there. The whole cookie cutter, oh, all households should be 50-50, or the man should always be the provider. Like that shit doesn't work on a grand scale, in my personal opinion. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, I was gonna say, because this is something else I saw you hit on as well, is that whole protector provider role thing is kind of questionable within itself because protection from what? Like let's be honest. Most
Yeah.
of us live in fucking townhouses, apartments, and homes.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no bears, bro. There's
Yeah.
no
I'm saying.
you're not out here protecting me from rabid beasts.
Right,
If there
right, right.
is a burglary, like how often do break-ins happen? Like
Mm-hmm.
in a household, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's not breaking in every day, bro. So,
Mm-hmm. Right.
you know, I feel like it becomes a kind of like played out excuse, if that
Mm-hmm.
kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Of like when I sit and I talk to these men about, okay, well, what are the roles within a relationship? Oh, well, I'm the protector of
Mm.
what?
Oh,
What do you
there you go.
protect from?
They need to answer that question. They need that. You
Of
need to
what?
answer it. Yep.
Because
Yep.
she go to work from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Like, and you're nowhere near her.
Yep.
So how are you protecting her? You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? Like
Yeah.
it's
That's
just I don't know, it's
what
flawed. So I wanted
I'm
to ask you, right?
saying.
What
Mm-hmm.
do you see the man's role is in a matriarchal culture?
Okay. So, man's role. I think it will go back to what you said, and I agree with it. Is that when people get together, they have to figure out what they're trying to accomplish together in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that starts off first, and I think people should both come in, you know what I mean? I mean, with that idea and everything like that, and then come up with a plan. So if a woman, I really think in a matriarch, I really feel like when we look at protect and provide, I'll say this. I'll say because if I can switch the brain from somebody who's saying they should protect and provide, I'd be like, look, you protect the matriarch woman's vision. That's what you do. That's what you protect.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Find out what it is that she wants to be able to accomplish, right? Don't add in pretty too much, nothing, because it's not really your vision. Because the vision, if it's if you're in her life, the vision she has is for both of y'all, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so the thing is like you gotta look at that vision, and she's gonna tell you if you let her talk and listen intently, she's gonna be like, this is what I want. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. Boom, boom, boom. The whole list. To say it's 10 things, whatever, like that, right? So the thing is that what the man should be able to do is go out in the world somehow and help her get those things. Not saying you have to go get all of them. She may say like, yo, I gotta go and get me some folders from Staples, and I need you to go send those 50 emails out to those people. That should happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and then if something is in the way of her getting to her mission and everything like that, then yeah, you go in there as a male and you remove those situations. I think a matriarch man should be a master problem solver with that woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? He should be able to look at problems and be able to solve them, and then he should be able to listen to her, because I feel like when you learn from a woman is different from a man, because if you learn it from a woman, she wants you to go to your highest point possible. When you learn it from another male, he wants you not to be higher than him, and he might kill you if you show that you could get higher than him. He gonna start
Mm-hmm.
doing weird shit to you. So the thing is, if you because when you listen to the woman in it as a matriarch man, I feel that it's gonna be love and nurturing attached to it. And then also, now don't get it like messed up. It ain't gonna. It's gonna be like aggressive sometimes, assertiveness and sometimes, because people gotta understand being feminine don't mean you automatically soft like that. I don't understand what people be thinking that stuff too. I think you gotta be both. I think with women they have a I think a women have more balance of feminine and masculine energy than a male. Because when a male was growing up, anything he was trying to, if he showed like feminine qualities, whatever, there were other men around him saying he wasn't supposed to do that. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to be nice to that girl. You're not supposed to buy her nothing. Like you, blah blah blah. They got all these names for him, right? But with a woman, when you have that balance, and I think a matriarch man should have the balance, you're able to fight and box with your right hand and your left hand. So you can be
Mm-hmm.
powerful in both when you're fighting for your goals and things like that. So he should be able to listen because it's coming out of love and nurturing, but also he shouldn't be afraid to get checked sometimes when he's doing stuff crazy, because the woman understands that I'm doing this for us, because if this ain't right, this gonna affect us. It ain't like a man where it just affects him. The woman is looking at it affects the whole family. So and if you're with me, then you
I
need to be
agree.
able to respect my intelligence and my, you know what I mean, and in my mind and my vision and things like that and stuff like that, and just get past just the physicality of me. I think a lot of dudes get stuck at the physical, so they don't respect the mind part. They don't respect the woman's problem solving skills and being able to do all these things. Because if you really look at it, I just don't understand it a lot of the times with certain dudes. When you really look at it, even in a general where a man says take care of the household, you know what that is, dude? That is taking care of the nurturing and loving the legacy that you're supposed to have with that woman, that whole household and everything like that. That's running a company almost. If you
Yeah.
really look at it, that's like running the empire right there. The house is the empire for her, right? You know what I'm saying? So how can you say that she can make good decisions and stuff when it comes to raising the kids in the household, but she can't make good business decisions? You tripping? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, listening more. I think listening,
Mm-hmm.
providing those resources out there. I think she's going to tell the man exactly what he needs to do, and he got to be able to make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you pointed out that most of the time when the woman states her vision is going to include you by default, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And that's the mentality that we have here within the egalitarian matriarchy,
mm-hmm,
because just me being the matriarchy of my community, when I say I want something, I naturally say, I want us to
mm-hmm.
have this many acres of land so that we can blah 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 for our children. Like, that's how
Right.
my mind naturally works.
Mm-hmm,
Um, Whereas I've been, submissive in various patriarchal situations, and that was never the mentality. The
right.
mentality was always very much, I as a man am this, and I'm
Mm-hmm,
trying to accomplish this, and I need you to do this to help me accomplish that. Like,
mm-hmm,
that's very much the mentality of the patriarch, right? That everybody in a patriarchy,
mm-hmm,
everybody are pawns on the king's board,
mm-hmm.
right?
Okay. Okay.
or however, whatever analogy you want to use, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're just players on his team,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be that we're just like extras in his movie,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to in most matriarchal situations, including my own, I naturally feel as though this is our board, this is our vision, this is
Mm-hmm.
our team,
Right.
and it's something that we're accomplishing together.
Mm-hmm.
And at no point do I feel like I'm the main character. And even when I listen to men, a lot of these patriarchal men speak about their children, it's very egotistical. It's very, my seed, and and
That's
how it makes me look. I want to have 100 kids because, you know, it's my seed this and my seed that and my women this. Like it's like
mm-hmm.
a display of his strength and his greatness and his ability. It's not a true love in a admiration
Mm-hmm.
for those children and those women.
Mm-hmm.
They're mostly trophies that represent how grand he is as a
Mm-hmm.
man, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
And I don't think that within the matriarchy the mentality is the same.
Mm-hmm.
um I think that there's a sense of deep love and admiration for the children and the men,
Mm-hmm.
and we make decisions and operate from that space of love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes us stronger, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of men will say that makes us weaker, right? Because we're emotional and we have feelings and we're caring and nurturing,
That's
that
crazy.
makes us weaker. But I think that that actually makes us stronger, and that makes our decisions more well rounded, as opposed to selfish or egotistical or destructive decisions, because they're decisions that are made out of love and nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
um so yeah, that's I just wanted to say I like that you pointed out how men don't have to be afraid of, like, if we're gonna be in a matriarchy, well, where do we fit in, I think a lot of men kind of have that feeling of fear of
Mm-hmm.
what happens to me if I
Mm-hmm.
if I'm in the matriarchy, you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, if I don't, yeah, every male is going to be different, but if a man is, see, men, and when I talk to them, men say they genetically inherit the right to be a leader, and I don't believe it. Well, they inherited like to be a provider and protector. That stuff is like learned. You got to want to do that. That's a choice. You're not just born that. You know what I'm saying? So a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
only
times
real
dudes
leaders
don't
know that.
understand. See what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like a lot of it. Yeah, it's a lot. And then the thing too with males is that they don't understand the matriarch to a certain degree is because they're not in tune with their own feminine energy. They scared of it. They ran from it all their life. So that's why this dude is always trying to blame the single mom and all that type of stuff. Not and he know that his mama told him not to go over there and kick it with little Greg and them down the street. His
Yeah.
mom was showing up to that school. His mom was working 2 or 3 jobs, providing. When that dude, the man he's searching for, that dad, he left, dude, because that mom probably held him accountable so hard because that dude was a baby and wasn't gonna let him be subjugated to that weirdness that father had going on.
Hmm.
So some women is like that. Some women, I've seen it in my family. Some women like, yo, you ain't about to disrespect me and my castle and all that type of stuff. Well, I'll do this without you. Right. So men got to understand too. A lot of times it don't always take a man to be in the household to raise no family, because there is plenty successful people out here who didn't have no father. Like, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So the thing is that the man, I think that I think the fear could be the fear of change and everything like that. But you have to understand, if you're a righteous man in this world, dude, you should want to be able to look out for a woman, to help a woman without no expectations. That should just be
Hmm.
in you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something that a man would have to learn. Because I seen dudes like, if a woman car is like broke right now or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'll help you, but then it's like, I need you to go to my house or something. I need, you know what I'm saying? The weird shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's always some other shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's like no genuine trying to protect and help women in general, because if you have that mentality to protect and provide and all that help like that, that's just your woman. That's all women that you come in contact with, to a certain, as long as you don't go across no boundaries if you're in a relationship. But you know what I'm saying? But you should have that type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. I 100% agree. I
mm,
100% agree. I personally experienced that myself where um, a situation was kind of portrayed as like, oh, uh, you know, me being a bitter woman and keeping the child away and blah blah blah.
mm,
And it was very much a situation of just like you said, holding a man accountable, like not
mm,
allowing a person to play back and forth.
mm,
Or like I said, a lot of times in my experience, men look at their children as pawns, or like they say we do that, but
mm,
it's really them that truly see their children as like my seed, like my thing that's proof that I am a man, like
mm,
as opposed to something that they actually truly love and care about and would
mm,
nurse when it's sick, and you feel me, like they don't really
mm.
look at it that way. And
Right.
I saw how a man was trying to like use the child as like a thing, right, that was convenient for him. um
Mm, mm,
and when I put my foot down on that, it became like a, well, I'm not doing this co-parenting shit. Like
mm, mm,
if
mm,
I can't completely control the situation, then I don't want to be a part of the situation, right? And then those will be the men who will go and like tell the world that their baby mom is bitter and so
right. Right. Right.
y'all don't never know the situation. So that
Mm,
rhetoric of like, oh, single parent, single mothers, and just really down in single mothers,
mm,
y'all don't even understand a lot of the times the sacrifices
mm,
and that those single women had to absorb and protect you from, so
mm,
that you could be alive today to
mm,
even type on a fucking screen about
mm.
single women, right?
Right. Right.
um
Right. Mm-hmm.
so that's my stance on that. But I did want to read an excerpt from a larger statement that you had made, right?
Okay. Okay.
um and I thought it was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You said she will be submissive and allow you to lead her and her children, and you don't even have to have any experience in leading, and you don't have to show proof that you've led a family before. You just have to sound like you've done it before, and she will believe you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was interesting about me is, in my experience, that is the expectation, right? That if you as a woman want a man to prove that he's a leader, it becomes like a, oh, you're a gold digger. Oh, you want a man to come already built and already, oh, you don't know how to hold a nigga down. You just want to walk into a nigga that's already built and blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, blah, da, 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 da. So as a
Mm-hmm.
woman, in order to prove that you're a real woman, you're supposed to like blindly sign your life and autonomy over to this person who has absolutely no real like qualities or achievements or characteristics that would qualify them for such a position, right?
Yes. Yes. Yep.
um
You're right.
and so
You're
I just
right.
wanted
You're
to
right.
ask you,
Mm-hmm.
for those women out there, or for those men who may find themselves in a position where, say they're, let's just say they're willingly looking for a leader, right? They
Okay.
want to submit to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
How do you create the balance between not wanting to be a gold digger and wanting to understand that, everybody's a work in progress and people aren't going to come perfect and have all of their dreams achieved all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But still wanting to know that this is a person who has the qualities and the abilities necessary to fulfill this job of a leader, right? What
Mm-hmm.
should they look for?
Mm. Well, I'll say this: they have to do this first before they do the looking. I think when it comes to submission, I think they got to submit to God and their purpose first.
Hmm.
That's first. And then once you do that and you explain that to the God and everything like that, he gonna do one or two things. Well, he might do a few more things, but he might, you know what I mean? I mean, he's gonna look at it probably like try to stop you from doing it because he a man and saying that he can do it. Give you what he says that you need or whatever. You're not gonna look at the vision. He's gonna be looking at, oh well, you don't need to be doing that. You need to be doing what I'm doing. But I look at that if I was a woman, I'm like, well, obviously you can't do it by yourself because you need me in the situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got a voice. I got my own vision. I got my own purpose. So if you need me, if you're trying to get me to help you with yours, then I definitely need help with mine if we're going to be in, you know, me in some type of union, and that has to be some balance in that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I think the submission to God and the purpose and working on that first is before. I don't even think a woman should even submit to a man at all. Okay, I'll say with this exception, this is my own belief, right? If the woman, if the woman is trying to achieve a goal that she set for herself, or or maybe she has some childhood traumas or whatever like that, submission should be allowing the man, like cool out and allow the man to be able to help fix those issues, then show you what he did to fix it. So whenever he ain't around, you can just go ahead and fix it yourself. That type of
Mm-hmm.
submission like that, I believe, right? On that end. Other than that, or
Mm.
you can do like, relationship, like, intercourse submission and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe, yeah, on that end, I like the games like that. But other than that, no. No, I don't think you submit to the dude, because a lot of times the dude ain't never, he can never show you like tangibly, this woman right here submit to me, and this what we accomplished by that submission, and show it to you. And have you talked to
Mm.
that woman? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be, if you're gonna
That's a
submit your
word.
whole soul like that, come on, that submission. Yeah, if you're gonna do all that, you should be able to talk to to the woman he led. She shouldn't be hiding somewhere. You should be able to ask her questions and be like, okay, what happened, and ask all the questions you had, and he should have proof that it led to some type of righteousness and it didn't lead to destruction.
That's a word right there. That, like you said, several things. Definitely the like being able to come into your life and say, what are you trying to do,
Yeah,
and provide a solution for what you're trying to do.
yeah.
When I tell you, I've had a lot of experience in the spiritual community, the conscious community, like this community of people who are trying to change the world,
Mm-hmm.
get shit done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a woman, it's very rare that a man will come to you and want to know what your goals are and your dreams are, and say, let me help you. Let me provide a solution for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, he's going to be trying to hire you or commission you to support his vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just was talking to another sister the night before about how a major red flag is someone who wants to get with you but wants you to drop everything about you and attach yourself to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that that's a great sign of a leader right there. If they're coming in and they have a mentality of, what does the team need,
Mm-hmm.
right? What does the team need? Not
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm not coming in as a coach or a leader and saying, well, this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
This is what my vision. I'm coming in and looking at the team and saying, what does the team need? What will help the team do better? What do you need that I can assist with? Um, what solutions can I bring to the table to make shit better for you? That is definitely somebody that I would want to, quote unquote, submit to, right? Um, so I think that's great. I mean, I agree with you that I don't think that, personally, I don't think that women need to submit to men, right?
Right, right, right.
Um, but I do feel like there are times where we do need to submit to each other,
Mm-hmm.
in various situations, whether it be to submit to your partner, because this is their area of expertise. This is something that they are more skilled at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being able to be quiet and listen and be receptive to whatever it is that they're showing you. Like, I think that we all can tap into that degree of
But
submission, right?
but
At
also,
times.
let me add this. I agree with that too, but at the same time, and this is what I love about being around women, and my granny and all them too, man. Like being is submission does not. Well, I'm gonna say it like this: if that's going on, that dynamic what you explained is going on, and you're listening and everything like that, the man should not stop the woman from asking questions. The man
Hmm.
just start listening and listen, and then and that's just that. You know what I mean? So my thing is that, you know what I'm saying. Oh, you should be able. You should be able to ask questions, and as many questions as you need in order for you to understand what it is that's going to be required of yourself in this teamwork situation. And also, just because a man is coming up with a plan, or anybody come up with a plan, somebody else can see like, yo, what if we did it that way? That might make more sense if we did it this way or that way. And I think that should be receptive because that's into the problem solving thing, and that eliminates the ego inside that dynamic.
Right. I
You know.
agree.
Hmm.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Eliminate the ego. That's really the basis of anything, right? Of this whole conversation, I think, is to eliminate the excessive ego um in places where it's just not necessary. Um but yeah, other than that, that's all the questions that I have for today. Um
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
think I think we had a great build. Is there anything else that you want the people to know?
Just when it comes to matriarch, patriarch, and everything like that, I think that one thing I do also too, I definitely want the women to know is understanding the arts inside themselves as well. That's a lot of a part of the purpose too, because a lot of women and everything like that, they have artistic talent in them, whether they can write poetry, whether they can write books, whether they can do music, whether they can dance, or they can be actors and actions and all that type of stuff. So I think that's part of a woman's crown in the artistic side, because what that does, the arts, you know what I mean, helps heal an individual, and it also helps the individual become healed. You know, like when you listen to music and everything like that, music can heal you or something like that. Or you can read a book, something like that too. So I think a lot of women should add that inside their weaponry. You know what I'm saying? As far as like being women as well. Go back to the childhood. I'll say go back to your childhood and look at everything that somebody trying to stop you from doing and try to take away from you and reclaim that shit. I don't care if you was doing cartwheels. I don't care if you probably was writing like diaries and everything. Those are authors right there. Those are future authors. If you're able to pick up a diary and write a whole story about what happened in the day, you're a writer. You know what I'm saying? So looking at all those different things, and then also looking at all the weapons that you have, and be able to utilize it and go out there and fight for your goals and your objectives and things like that, and don't necessarily believe that a man knows what's best for you like that. You know what I mean? Especially if he ain't proven that he's done it before. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what I have to say on that. Pretty much.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
love that. I think that was an amazing message for people, especially because myself, I'm a part of an organization. I'm one of the founders of an organization called WOMB, which is Women of Mystical Bloom. It is
Okay.
a sister circle of women who are primarily matriarchs and nation builders,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the main ways in which we support each other. We are working on honing our skills, um, healing ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
challenging ourselves, going out to into the community. Like we're working on adding on to ourselves in a way that can be utilized towards executing our visions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so y'all definitely make sure I'm gonna tag it in the description below. Make sure y'all go follow our Instagram page, Womb Awakened. Follow all the members, Empress Kalira, Honor Thyself,
Mm-hmm.
Kasha Divine, um, all of us, right? I'll tag everybody down below. Make sure y'all go follow us and stay tuned. We have a lot coming.
Mm-hmm.
And we are looking for sisters every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once again, I want to thank you for coming through and talking with me. Where can the people go find you at?
They can find me at oh yeah, yeah, quick thing. Shout out to Honor Thyself as
Mhm.
well, because I know some of those people over there and everything like that. The names that you mentioned. Also, you know, maybe at md.revel on Instagram. Pretty much that's where I'm pretty much active on there, and then from there you kind of like, because you know it's Facebook, Twitter, and all these different things and stuff like that. So md.revel IG is kind of like the best way to be able to interact with me on that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's good. And another thing too is, I want to say this to you as well. It's it's really exceptionally, I think, beautiful for you and other women to sit down as like tribes and nations and be
Mhm.
able to solve problems in the communities and solve problems in your lives and be able to help one another. Because one of the main things is that, and we've seen this growing up, men have always come in between that. They've always
Yes.
wedged in there and trying to holler at this girl. Don't go out with your friends. Oh, you over there doing this and that. You over there studying, coming up with business plans, critique. It's good because a lot of times, in society, like women will go at each other and everything, and they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? They can really share their ideas and their visions amongst each other and create because nations become powerful with allies as well. If we're looking at the big scope of things, that's beautiful that y'all all together as women fighting for those goals that y'all have in your souls like that.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I'm gonna say that.
Yes, I love that you
Definitely
just
want to see that.
highlighted that. That's like one of the main things that we're combating against, because each and every one of us have been in situations where we wanted that sisterhood, but it was destroyed by men. Men, like you
Yeah.
said, they literally wedge themselves in between women.
Mm-hmm.
They become threatened when women gather together and hold
Mm-hmm.
space together, and they try to like put themselves, like I said, that heliocentric mentality. They try to put themselves at the center of everything. And
Mm-hmm.
okay, y'all can be sisters as long as y'all are all my wives and we're
Ain't that
polygamous. You
crazy?
know, like
So wait,
it's
hold on one
ridiculous.
second. Is the program over? Because I got another thing I want to ask you if you had any finish it.
Oh
Is
no,
the
you
program?
can. You can definitely
I
ask.
can keep going. Okay, okay. So
Mhm.
I want to know as being because when you brought up the wives type of situation, being matriarch, what is your viewpoints on the polygamy trend that's going on out here in the world, especially the black community? Oh yeah, you just, you just excelled. Come on, let's,
Uh,
let's let's hit on it. Let's hit on it. It's major out here. I've
it's
been seeing
like
a lot of craziness.
it's idiotic on so many different levels. I'm sorry, like I'm
Okay.
sick of it. And one of the main reasons why I'm sick of it is because I've like experienced it up close and
Oh,
personal in
okay.
multiple different situations. So
Mm,
I've really taken the time to see why it does not make sense for our people. Like we can start off with the fact that, so what we're talking about with polygyny is a system
mm,
that its main function is to multiply children rapidly, right?
okay. Okay.
Ideally, when it's done without protection, because that's another part. I'm gonna get into that.
Mm,
When it's done without preventative measures, you essentially have a man that's like sleeping with as many women as he can, right?
mm, mm,
Well, his wives, whatever,
mm,
and it's producing a bunch of children. And this is why a lot of men will try to use it to say, "Oh, nation building." But
mm.
we live in a society where there are already so many children in foster care, so many children in the system, so many children in the streets. The proof is in the pudding
Mm.
that we are struggling with maintaining the one or two children that we already have.
Yes.
So I don't understand why you would think the solution to that is to start mass producing a bunch of more children.
Mm,
The other thing is we don't have autonomy, right? We don't have
mm,
the ability to source our own pure water. We don't have the ability to grow our own food. We don't have the ability to shelter ourselves, to clothe ourselves. So
mm.
what are you producing all these children for, other than to become a battery pack for the system that you yourself are still entrapped in, right?
Oh,
Um,
that's.
it's
You told. Wait a minute. You told somebody that. Well, I wanted to know what they said when you said that to them. If you told anybody, you told a polygamy man that. That right there. That right there. That is very, very important. Right there.
it was deflection. Of course it was deflection.
Really.
It was a lot of delusion, a lot of, oh well, um because they seem to think that having sheer numbers alone will allow them to create a nation, right? And so this is where I have to kind of explain to them that you have no idea what an autonomous nation actually is, because it's
Mm,
not just about having a bunch of people, right?
mm,
Just having a bunch of kids does not mean that you are now an autonomous nation, right? There's so many other aspects that go into that.
mm,
Um, and so usually this is around the time where the men will start to try to like project and like turn the conversation into like an emotional um like like what happens when you start having these conversations with people and they
mm.
can't like logically rebuttal what you're saying, so they just
Right.
start like becoming emotional, or they try to end the conversation, or like they just regress back to, well, this is as a man I can
Oh,
impregnate
yeah. Yeah.
multiple women
Right.
at a time, you can only get pregnant one time. Like they just go back into the
Mm,
same default
mm,
rhetoric, and that's where I end the conversation.
mm,
So
mm. Right. Right. Right.
honestly, I think that the average man cannot even satisfy and understand and fulfill one woman, let alone 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my honest observation. I can't even just put that on men. Like, I feel as human beings, period, right now we are struggling to be able to make one relationship work.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why people think that they're qualified to now take on two, three, four, five extra relationships
Mm-hmm.
when you haven't even mastered the one that you got.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Did you say
and
that to
then
any polygamy guy? I would want to know what they said when you said that. That's another good
um,
point.
so the problem with that is they tend to think that adding other women is the solution to the problems in their first marriage, right?
Mm,
So they will say like, oh, um, so for example, if we point out the fact that their wife isn't fulfilled,
mm,
she's having to work extremely hard, she's not getting the emotional support from you that she needs, well,
mm,
that's what her sisters will be for, right?
mm, mm, mm,
um this is why she will have sister wives who can
mm.
come in and help her take care of the children and help her cook and clean, and they can be her support. So you're going to sleep with all of these women, and then they're going to have to sit here and provide all of the emotional support, do all of the working, the cooking, the clean. What are you for? Do you think you're a male lion? Is that what you think you are?
Right, 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 right,
Because for
right.
that you would have to have territory and
Mm-hmm.
borders to protect,
Mm-hmm.
because that's
Mm-hmm.
what male lions do. Because that's, they like to try to compare themselves to the male lion, of how the female lions are the ones that, they hunt, they take care of the kids, they train the kids, they do all that shit. But
Mm-hmm.
the male lions are constantly patrolling the borders and
Mm-hmm.
protecting them from actual real threats, because
Mm-hmm.
they don't have apartments and townhouses and condos and shit.
Right,
Like,
right,
they
right,
actually have to protect their territory,
right,
right?
right, 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 right,
Um,
right, right.
so then we have to start getting into that. So how are you actually protecting all of these women? Because if they're going to work, if they're feeding themselves, if they're providing themselves with emotional support, if they're nurturing the children, if they're already protected because they live in a society where, the law enforcement is a call away, their
Right,
brothers, their uncles are a call away, they have
right,
firearms themselves, then
right,
what
right,
is your fucking purpose other than to just impregnate a bunch of women? Which
right,
is really a
right.
liability to those women,
Mm-hmm.
because their body is at risk, their
Mm-hmm.
health is at
Mm-hmm.
risk,
Right,
they're
right.
having to sit and breastfeed and nurture that child. So you
Mm-hmm.
impregnating them is really a liability to them, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's my
Mm-hmm.
viewpoint on polygyny.
That's cold business right there. What you said though, and 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 you valid in what you're saying because you experienced it too though. You know what I'm saying? So you seen like, you know what I mean, you seen like the crazy stuff and probably some of the good stuff. You just come up to a conclusion or whatever. But you're right, man. It's hard. It's hard just to deal with like one female because the thing that
Mhm.
I hear the guys say is this, and this how I know it's a setup when the dude is saying, "I'm gonna be there for you emotionally, physically, sexually, financially, soulfully." You can't do all that, dude.
You
Like
can't.
you ain't gonna do all that. Like that's impossible. That woman needs to know how to do that for herself, right? She needs to tap into herself like that. And just like how you said, is that when she tap into herself on it, she gonna look at the dude. Just how you said it right there. It's like, why are you even here? This
What are
ain't
you
this
doing?
ain't this ain't the 1500s no more, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of the dudes want to go back to some type of mental time machine and go back to lions in Africa. Like you can't really compare humans and lions, right? Like obviously, but I can understand what they're trying to say. But they try to go back to Africa in them days, and polygamy only worked because women didn't have no rights. Man. That's pretty much what it was.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason because they couldn't. Society at that time is that they had to be able to take care of the household while the dude was out there. That's just they didn't have no rights. They couldn't vote. They couldn't get no education. None of that type of stuff. So I just think right now I just think probably it's just I think it's a pimp hoe mentality right now.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
when I look at polygamy, I just see all the sexual stuff. I don't see nothing no people actually built though. Like, what did
yeah.
you actually build with all these people?
Oh, and that was the other part I was going to get to, is that a lot of
Mm,
these men who use rapid reproduction as the whole reason for polygyny, you notice they never have a bunch of kids.
mm,
Like, these dudes, they have all these wives. Like, I've
mm,
personally witnessed men who participate in polygyny, but you using protection, but you pulling
mm,
out. you know,
That's crazy right there.
but
Yeah.
2 of your wives on birth control and all this extra. So what are you doing that for? Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like it's not, it's, yeah, it's just bullshit. It, at its core, it is men who want to sleep with multiple women,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to use spirituality to justify it so that they
Mm-hmm.
can manipulate the women into agreeing. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, like when they go back in the Bible and say Solomon had 500 and all that. I'd be hearing that like that type of
exactly.
thing.
And they
Okay.
missed the part where that fucked Solomon up. Like
Yeah.
that was the whole reason why Solomon ended up being punished by God and going through all the shit that he was going through, was because he was sleeping with all of those women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he began to take on their idols and their way of life, and that caused problems for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like sleeping with a whole bunch of man, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Also, they skipped the part in the Bible where it says for you not to add on wives to yourself, right? So you're
Mm.
not supposed to just go around collecting wives like infinity stones. Um, so it's there's a lot of things that men do.
Right. Yeah. Collecting
Mm.
why? So let me ask you this too, because I know you probably got to go. I'm learning from you. You know what I'm saying? It's the way it's just the way I am. So
No, you fine.
okay. I'm just making sure. So in these polygamy relationships and stuff like that, do they actually go through a ceremonial situation where they bring God into it, have people, around or whatever, and make these vows, these commitments, you know what I mean, in front of the aura of God, spirit of God type of thing. Like when I say that, I mean like saying like, say like, this is my wife here. Just say her name is Lisa. I'm just gonna make up. Her name is Lisa, right? And then we gonna come into a union as husband and wife, and I'm saying like, God bless us and cover us and everything like that. And I promise to you, Lord, do all my being, teach me how to be the best of this woman, help me with my vows. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that type of thing. You see what I'm saying? Like a
Mhm.
ceremonial type of process. Does that even happen in polygamy? You know?
It really just depends on the spiritual practice that they're in, because you'll have some of these like woke quote unquote people who like, oh, we don't believe in the white man's paperwork, and you know, you'll have these Hebrew Israelites that are like, oh, sex is marriage. Like, so it just depends on who you're talking to, because
Okay.
you do have some who have like a whole spiritual um ceremony that takes place behind it. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
one of my friends who was on the show before, she is a what's the word for it? Like a marriage consultant slash like she marries people, right? Like she does the ceremony and stuff. But she specializes in polygamous period
Mm.
relationships.
Okay.
So it really just depends.
Okay. I was wondering. Yeah.
Mhm.
I talked to a couple of guys on, talking to polygamy, and like how you said, man, it's really because they always tell me they got it from Africa or something like that. That's the
Mhm.
main thing. So I just went back to Africa and I started looking at doing some research on it, and I'm like, it was really about them babies, man. Like it was really about that. You needed those women, and you needed qualified type of women who could be nurturers, and not you can't just tell by how they look, or
Mhm.
because you got a sexual urge for one that you see, that means you don't have no discipline now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that woman, it's kind of like when you hire a babysitter or something. You know how you sit them down and talk to them, what's your references, and you know what I mean, all that type of stuff, man. To be able to understand, can they do the nurturing and the emotional stuff, because a lot of women ain't built in that area like that for that specific dynamic. They can be able to do something else. So
Mhm.
there ain't no kids, man. And you right about that. There ain't no kids, man. Like all that intercourse and everything, all the wives, man. You should have, yeah. You're supposed to have a lot of kids, man. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? A lot of kids, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they be
agree.
bullshitting. They be bullshitting before. I know it's a couple of them that they be out here terminating pregnancies and stuff. But we ain't gonna get into that. On,
Whoa.
yeah. On that note, I do have to go.
Okay, go ahead,
I do got to get up out
Okay.
of here.
All right, I bet
We
I
can
got you.
definitely do a part two. We definitely
Okay.
can sit down again. Um, Once again, y'all, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow both of us.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put the information down in the description below.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for sitting down. This was a great build. This is a
All
great
right, and
build.
thank you too. Thank you for having me too. I appreciate you as well.
No problem. Monet.
All right, later.